Okay, hello everyone. Let's get started. First off, let me just ask, is my sound okay? Because I listened to my sound last week and I saw it wasn't great. So I'm trying to change it. So can everyone hear me? Is everything okay? Can you see me? My hair doesn't want to work today, so I tried to put in some wax. Um, yeah, let's get started. We've got Fanatic Fantasy. Hello, my name is Pietra and I'm a teacher from Czech Republic. This is my first time watching the live stream here, so I'm curious. Well, Pietra, thank you so much for coming. We also have Eunice here for the first time. Guys, I'm so grateful that you're here. You're spending your time chatting with us. Actually, I feel so bad because usually at the end of my streams, my stream is 1 hour long, so after that I'll stop it. But usually at the end, I say goodbye to everyone. And the last two live streams, I forgot to say goodbye to everyone. So this time, please remind me. Let's quickly see who's here. So hello everyone. If you're new here or if you're here, just put your name in the comments. If you have any questions, if you have anything to share, please add it down below. So first off, Vahid, you were first. Vahid, thank you so much for being here. Vahid is trying to work on his English. And Vahid, I'm almost done with a lot of videos specifically for English learners, which I will bring out later. Then second is my brother Paul. BLDG, recently we've met on another YouTuber's channel, Roberto. So BLDG Productions, welcome. Eunice is new here. Letty, I'm so thankful to have you here. Letty has, I think you've been here for almost a couple of weeks now, right, Letty? So nice to have you here. We're going to talk about a lot of good things today. Actually, I got a question from Megam, one of our great watchers, and she gave me two questions, and I did a little bit of research, and I think it'll be really good. BLDG, Fanatic, you're new here. My dad is here, Eric Wesh. Eunice, I used Zoom game with my students from your videos. It worked like magic. I'm so happy. I've got a lot of games and activities I still want to share. So I'll probably work on some more videos in the future. Right now I'm busy with the 100 tip series. But once that is done, I'm going to share a lot of new videos that you can use for Zoom and teaching. So Saima! Okay, so guys, before we go any further, if you look at my subs, I am almost at 10,000 subs, which is a really special number. And to celebrate it, I'm asking all the teachers, all of you who want to, and other YouTubers, to send me a short video of introducing themselves and to give a quick tip to teachers out there. And I'm going to take all these videos together, add them together, and then make a compilation. And Saima was one of the first people to send me a video. So everyone, if you want to share a video, please do that. Just take a video with your phone. It can be like 40 seconds long. Just introduce yourself and give a tip, a personal tip for teachers out there. I'll quickly put in my email address here, EOWAS. Sorry for taking so long. I will start to get to the lesson now. My mom's here. Hi, Mom. Renee, you're here. I hope you're feeling better. Renee, I hope you can send me a video. I think with all your knowledge, you could make a video on your own, but only 40 seconds. Well, for you, maybe 45. Saima says hello to everyone. And BLDG, so great sharing tips to and Christina, how very inconsiderate of you not to say thank you and goodbye. Well, that's what we do. Christina made it. She said she will drop by, and I'm so happy she's here. Yes, Kyoto is a Spanish enclave in the north of Africa. Wow, you know, just I feel like the one thing that we can all learn from is a little bit more geography. I really enjoyed geography when I was younger, but I didn't pay attention. So every time there's I wish I knew more about geography. What about you guys? Are you good with geography? I'm not that great. Saima, so I'm the first making the video. Yes, I think you are one of the first. I think you might be the first to send me. And I'm waiting for everyone. Okay, everyone, so if you have any questions, please put it in the comments and I'll talk about it. But usually the thing is, I jump around a lot. You'll see me looking at my phone to chat with you, and I've got a lot of good things to do. Veronica is here. Your ideas to use Zoom are great. Thank you, Veronica from Argentina. Hi. Yeah, guys, I think I will add some more. If you would like to see more activities and things for Zoom, maybe I'll make some videos for after the 100 tips series. And yeah, I've got some ideas I actually want to share, because we've been using Zoom for a long time, and I feel like most teachers know the basics. So teachers are looking to step up and use new techniques and new activities. I've recently been asked by some of the universities to do a presentation, so I've been researching some new ideas to use, and of course I'm going to share that with you first once I try them out. Okay, now, I know I jump around a lot and maybe you'll get used to it, but I want to start today by looking at Megan's questions. And of course, if you've got input, put it in the comments below. Letty says, I put my Italian writing on my phone. Nice. I like how every culture has a different way to say, to laugh. So for example, Letty uses yeah, and I know that, of course, we say haha or lol. In Korea, they use k if you use Korean characters, and I think there are a few others. Ya, I think is what they use in Brazil. So every culture or language has a different way to laugh. What's the one in the Philippines? They've also got a different one. Okay, anyway, back to what I wanted to say. Today we've got two questions, and they come from Migam, and as you know, Migam I always answer yeah in Argentina. Thank you, Veronica. I thought it might be. Migam asks great questions, and I feel like every time she asks me a question, I have to think about it or do some research just to give you guys like a good answer. Now, her two questions were, how do you teach vocabulary? And she also asked about error correction. Now, I've done a long time ago, maybe a year ago, I did a video on how to give feedback, and that's also kind of like error correction, but I didn't base it completely just on ESL. So today I want to do error correction specifically for ESL. And also I want to look at vocabulary, because one of the videos I would love to do is maybe 10 activities or 10 games to learn vocabulary. So I'm going to start with vocabulary first. First off, of course, learning new vocabulary is very important to learn a new language, because the more vocabulary our students learn, the more they can use, and they expand. So it's very important for them to learn new vocabulary. And the vocabulary on its own doesn't mean anything. So they should be able to take that vocabulary, understand what it means, and use it in a sentence, or use it in the correct way. Now, a mistake that many students make is that they translate a word and then they use it. But when students use the method of taking a sentence or word in their head and then translating it and then using it, it takes up a lot of time and they're much slower. And that's also not a good way to learn a language, because you're not learning a language, you're just basically memorizing things and then trying to translate it and then use it. So it's very important for us, when we teach our students new vocabulary, that we teach it to them in context, that they can use that vocabulary. So how do we do that? First, they have to exactly know how it's used. They have to know the meaning for it and how it's used in the language. So for example, if you've got new vocabulary that you want to teach to your students, you want to explain it in context. So what you can do is you can tell them a story. You can say, oh, yesterday I bought some fruit. I ate an apple. I ate an apple and it was red and it was beautiful. So I use all these other words, but I'm explaining it in a story so that they can follow along. Maybe they don't understand everything in the story, but they'll get the context of that. So what's also important is you can use images to show them. You can use flashcards, you can use video, you can use pictures. You can also use it in dialogue. So the most important for them is contextualize the word to understand what it means. And then Yeah, it's very fun. You can also use realia. I mean, if you have an apple and you show them, oh, this is apple, they're like, oh, okay, that's apple. And we've got someone new here, Rachid. Hello, everyone. Happy to join you. I'm Rachid. I'm from Martil, the north of Morocco. And another viewer from Morocco. Welcome so much, Rachid. And thanks, Mrs. Letty, for sharing the link. Yeah, thank you so much, Letty. I have no idea where you shared it, but I really appreciate it, and everyone is welcome. Okay, so we said first off, when you teach vocabulary, make sure that it happens in context so that the students know where it comes from. Use pictures, flashcards, realia. Use it in a story. Use it in dialogue. You can use lots of acting. A very good idea is also to use word clusters. And now, what is a cluster? It's a group of things that are similar. So, for example, that is why many books have themes, so that students know that, okay, this is a theme. So for kids, it's like animals. Okay, you're going to learn monkey, you're going to learn lion. You know that all these are from the same words. If you're doing animals, but they're from a jungle, you're going to say, okay, these are animals, but they're from a jungle. So make sure that you use themes in the classroom so that students know, because if you teach, let's say you teach apple on one side and then suddenly you want to teach them the sun in the same lesson, that can be confusing unless you connect it somehow. And that brings me to my next point. When you teach vocabulary or when you teach anything, it is all about how many connections can the students make to whatever they're learning. So you're going to give them the context, they're going to understand it, but it should also be relevant to their lives. So it should be connected to their lives. So, if you're going to teach them colors, right? You're going to say, oh, what is in your pencil? Oh, your pencil is blue. Your eyes are blue. Or he's got a blue shirt. So he's like, oh yeah, this shirt of mine, my shirt is blue. So connect it to their lives and make it relevant. So many times we get these old books, these old textbooks with words that are hardly used. And we as teachers think, really, should we teach it? No, make it relevant. It should be something that they can apply in their lives. Okay, Saima says we can also draw the word. Very important, drawing. But Saima, that's only if you can draw well. If you're like me, an apple will look like a spaceship. So only if you draw well. Migam, hi. Are you answering my questions? Yes, Migam, of course. This episode is just for you. We're answering your 2 questions about vocabulary. Renee says Rachid. Is it Rashid? Okay, Renee, thank you so much. Yeah, Rachid. Is it Rashid? Because I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Thank you, Renee, for bringing that up. Nicole says, my students don't always understand key expressions. Would I treat them the same as you explain how to use vocab? Yeah, key expressions. Okay, with key expressions, that's very important because that's something they have to understand. I'm going to give a couple more things that you can do, but with key expressions, if it's something they really need to know, that they're going to use a lot, you can use something like the definition. You can use the translated word. But like I said before, you don't want to overuse translations because then students aren't really learning and remembering the vocabulary. They're just translating things. So, but sometimes I ask my students, okay, guys, what is the word for this in English? And they can also practice with each other. Oh, what is this in English? What is this in Korean? So you can use that. You can also use but the key expressions and the keywords, yeah, you can use these techniques for teaching vocabulary where you use images or you actually help them act it out. You can draw it like Saima said. You can use antonyms, so you can use the opposites. You can also use, a fun way is to teach through using opposites or synonyms, right? So if you use similar words to explain. So, okay, you've got... Okay, let's say you've got banana and you've got something that's similar like, okay, wait, I can't say carrot. But anyway, you use, let's say you use words that are similar like strong and powerful, right? So they can get the meaning from, it's got a similar meaning. Antonyms, you say, oh, what is the opposite to that? He is tall, she is short. Okay, you can do something like that. Then key expressions. Yeah, the expressions, I do feel like it's important. Sometimes I use translation, but make sure they understand exactly what it is. And like I said before, oh, one more tip. Let the students say the words. There is nothing more powerful for a student to actually interact with the language than by using it. That's why we use things like chants all the time, so that students say the words, they make an action with it. So they've got all these different ways to remember the word. So maybe they don't remember the sound, maybe they don't understand how to say it, but they do the actions too. Now you can do this with key expressions. Maybe do a movement while you do it. So let's say turn off the lights, and you do like a motion like this. So find all these ways to connect the students to the knowledge. And like I said before, get them to say it. So these key expressions, let them practice it with each other. Let them practice it out loud in a group. You want them to interact with it. Sorry if I repeat myself, I do it sometimes. Monya said, okay, so Fanatic said, actually, sun and apple could be connected nicely if you talk about how plants grow and is needed for the apple to grow. See, that's spoken like a true teacher. I knew once I said it, somebody was going to find like a connection like that. And that's definitely true. If you created a nice story telling the students, okay, we've got the apple, and the apple grows, but it needs the sun. Of course, you can do something like that. Yeah, I was just spitballing. Roberto's here. Hello, Roberto. So nice to have you. Roberto is also a great English teacher. He's got fantastic content that he puts out. I saw him today. Roberto, you should consider making a live stream. I really like you explaining things. Monya says, what do you think about using mother language in teaching English language? Monya, I spoke about this before. We basically say that the least amount of mother tongue you can use, the better. But for younger learners, sometimes it helps them just if they get the instruction in the mother language. Sometimes if it's funny, I ask the students, oh, what is this in Korean? And then, or if I might use some Korean, just to help them to learn something quicker. Because sometimes, you know, if you're teaching grammar and you just give them the translation, they're like, and they understand quickly, instead of taking 10 minutes to explain something. But rule of thumb, the less you use, the better, but sometimes just use it for fun or to quickly help your students. Okay, very good there. Letty, we choose a topic. We don't use books. We show everything on the smartboard. I love flashcards. The youngest make flashcards. Nice. Which color they use, and they copy the word on the board. Exactly. That sounds so fun, Letty. So I said before, let the students, the more they interact with the language, the more fun they have, the better they will remember it. There's something I want you to call you. I call it the mom rule. The mom rule is, if you're teaching your students something, and after that class they go home, can they explain that to their parents? Can they explain it to their moms? So if you were teaching your class about sun and apple, can they go home and explain it to their parents? Can they tell a story using these words? Can they explain? Can they give the translation? Can they draw a picture? Can they explain it to their mom? If they can explain something to their mom, then you know that they understand it. And that's the mom rule. Now, when they are drawing pictures, making flashcards, writing down the word, drawing a picture, saying it, get your students to say it, get them to use it in sentences. If they're older, get them to interact with the language. How about upper intermediate students? Yeah, exactly the same. With the vocabulary, let them start using it. What I like to do with my students sometimes is, let's say you've got upper intermediate students, say, here's a list of words, I want you to make a conversation with each other using these 10 words, and then come back to us. So these two will sit, they will make a conversation using the words, and that means that they're applying this vocabulary to the lesson. And it's also fun because you're going to have all these unique sentences and conversations that come out. So with same principle counts for upper intermediate. Let them interact with the language to make it part of who they are. But remember, tell them you don't want a lot of translation, because that's not how we learn a language. BLG, hello, senor. Shout out Hermano. Hermano, I know, means brother. I like that. There was, I don't know if you guys watched the show. What is it called? Arrested Development. And there are two brothers, and the one brother falls in love with the brother's girlfriend. And then the brother finds out that there's someone called Mi Hermano, and he wants to find Hermano because he thinks it's another guy. Meanwhile, it's his brother that fell in love with his sister. And then Nikhil says, thank you. I didn't say hello. No, it's fine. Hi. And Nikhil, it's so good to have you. Letty, give this video, so I'll show this. Renee says she give this video a thumbs up so that others might find it. Thank you. Is it my video, Renee, or another one? If it's mine, thank you. If it's another one, that's fine too. I trust you completely. Rashid, I'm teaching mathematics in English language, but I use code switching when some mathematical rules are hard for my students to understand. Did I have to avoid that, or is it normal? It's totally normal. I think, sometimes we are too strict to say only use English. It helps so much, so use your own discretion. I think that's a great, use your own discretion. So for easy things, if you want to teach them something easy, multiplication or something, then by all means. But if it's something a bit more difficult, switch to the native language, and later you can explain it more. So I would definitely say that. Letty, we don't use their mother tongue during our 1 hour class. If really necessary, they can ask at the end, but normally it isn't necessary. Yeah, I think if you start teaching and they're so used to the routine and things, they know exactly what happens. It shouldn't be necessary to use the home language. Like I said, I sometimes just use it for fun or to quickly help them, but they should use. Oh, mine, Renee. Oh, of course. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. I don't say this, but like and subscribe. Yeah, put it in there. I think the first, when I first started with my YouTube, for the first, I think 8 months, because they say YouTubers have to do it, I had like a small intro video, and I said like and subscribe. But recently with my videos, I just put out my videos, and if people like it, they can like, if they or subscribe. The one thing they do say though is make sure that the bell icon is on, so when a video comes out you have the choice to watch it. So Fanatic says also putting the vocabulary into a very simple story works. You can even let them use their own story. The monkey is outside, the elephant comes, the birthday party is for the crocodile. Exactly. You know what? It's like that with anything. If the students can start using it creatively, they will enjoy it more, they will have fun, and they will have more input. Actually, I think recently I was thinking about Zoom, teaching online. And one of the tips I had was make the students part of the lesson. And, usually teachers do this by telling a story or asking the students questions and getting their opinions. But in Zoom, I think when I start a lesson, before I start the lesson, I ask the students to bring something to class, to actually take part in the class. So if we're doing colors, I ask them to bring different colors, or bring a toy for show and tell, or bring a photo, draw something. If we're doing a topic, like photosynthesis, I'm going to ask them to draw a picture of it happening. How does it happen? Okay, that's a bad example, but yeah, get the students to be part of the lesson, and I think that's so important. Now, where you say that they have to create their own story, the more you can get the students to use it, the better it is. In most of my classes, I start my class, I teach what I want to teach, and then I put the students to create a story, create a dialogue, work on a project, so that they become invested in the lesson. And I think that is very important, especially for ESL, but for any teaching. And then I'm going to show this one. It is Danny. Subscribe. Okay, he says that. Danny is here. He's got an English channel. Hi Danny, it's good to see you. Migam, learning math in English. I would give up on math. Yeah, I know math is very difficult, but yeah, I think that would be difficult. What is it called again when we've got to start using different subjects together? I know that when I was teaching in South Africa, that was one of the things where you had to include, what is that term again, when you start using different subjects with each other? So if you're teaching English, maybe you can bring math in, or biology, or something like that. There's a word for it. Elsa, you made it. A bit late today. I have to catch up. Well, Elsa, you're welcome. You missed the first question, but you are ready for the second one. And the second one's going to be the best one. The first one, we talked about learning or teaching vocabulary and how to get students to learn it. Was there something else I wanted to say? Yeah, you can use chance and the mom rule. Yeah, I did everything. Let's see. Malika, hello, good to see you. Intercurricular, I think it's not just that. Intercurricular, STEM, yeah, it's, there's another one. English for special purposes, no, there's another one. Cross curriculum, there's another word. I'll look it up and I'll share it with you guys. CLIL works like that, so where you have to use the different ones. I think this is going to bother me. You guys don't believe me, but there's another word I wanted to use for it. All of these are correct, but there's something else I want to use. Okay, guys, let me take a sip quickly. So, how are you guys doing? Do you have any questions? Do you have anything you want to share? We've got, I think this is the first time we've got more than 20 viewers. Guys, welcome. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I really enjoy it. Okay, Migam says quiz time. Okay, guys, shoot. Any questions you have while I take a sip of water? If you have any questions, shoot. I'll tell you about my weeks. My week's been very boring. I went to the beach on Thursday and Friday. That's why I've got a bit of a tan. Not a lot, but a little bit of a tan. Roberto says, students can better relate their experiences and enhance their vocabulary if we always consider their strengths. Multiple intelligence rather than focus solely on language. Wow, Roberto, that is... yeah, that's exactly right. I like the way you said it, is that, I think we should really consider the student's level, their age, or what level they are. Because if you teach them vocabulary that is beyond them, or it's not something that is relatable, they're not going to be interested. Also, if you only focus, you should focus on all these other methods to teach it to multiple intelligences. Maria, I think it's Maria. Good afternoon. What is your opinion? Is that important to teach little children the English transcription of the consonants or vowels? Thank you very much in advance for answering. Okay, what is your opinion? Is it important to teach the English transcription of consonants and vowels? So basically what you're asking, I think it's Maria, right? So is basically if they should learn the phonics, how the sound works. In phonics, it's important because there are different sounds for the different ways that the words are written. I think what you can do is you can teach them the sounds, and you should also give them examples of how those sounds work. And then after that, they will start blending and using the sounds together. So you have your consonants and you have your vowels. But sometimes they've got different ways that they can use it, especially if you put them together. So what I would do is, yes, I would teach them that, and I would also give them examples of how to use it. I hope that answers your question. Veronica, I missed yours. We have had some theme classes. Today we are having a blue class, so everybody should wear something blue. That's very funny because students choose different topics for different classes. Man, I just love it when you give a theme or something to students and they can be creative in their own ways. You know, the beauty of teaching is that you're working with these individual students and everybody's got a different way of doing things. And if we can, but it's important to have a foundation for them to work on and to get ideas. Because if we tell them just, okay, everyone, write me a story, then they're just going to be like, that's too broad. But if you say, okay, the door opens, take the story from there, they can take it all these billions of different places. So if you have a theme class, say, okay, it's a blue class, it's an animal class, or the letter D, you're going to have all these unique things, and that just makes learning so much fun, and they're going to love it because they are acting in class. I think the worst thing is if students are passive and they just have to take in information. So if you can help them be creative, that's fantastic. Okay, Letty says, get them to talk about themselves or let them ask you questions. Exactly. My very first class, what I do is I tell the students, think of any questions they want to ask me. The students ask me a question, I ask them a question, and from the very first class, I want them to start asking questions, and sharing more about themselves, because, you know, learning doesn't take place in a vacuum. We've got to open their horizons and, you know, open it up for them. Renee says, Fanatic, also includes something they enjoy. I had multiple Harry Potter themed lessons. We practiced colors, numbers, animals, and also practiced spelling and grammar. Fanatic, I think I would have loved to be in your class. It sounds a lot of fun, having taking into consideration what the students really enjoy. I mean, as teachers, that's what we should do. And many times, you know, I love talking to other teachers about this too, because we get ideas. Like, I get very stuck in the way I teach, but by talking with you, I can be like, hang on, well, let's do something different in my class. It sounds like that could be a great idea. And that's why this is so great to chat with each other. Okay, where are we? Renee says, synthetic phonics makes it easier for them to read. Yeah, I think it's very important. Phonics is the foundation of learning English, so we've got to take them through that, because if they fall behind with phonics, it's very difficult. So if you can get them that foundation strong, it's good. And then, sorry, I can't read your name. It's Arabic, and it says, what is the best methods a teacher can use for students of primary school? Yeah, we've just said it here. You know, interact with your students, make it about them, make it relevant, and get them to talk about themselves or be creative. You know, so for us as teachers, we're just guides, right? We form the world for them, and they built it. You know, so we just say, okay, here is a blank sheet, just do this, and then they draw it and they use it. So as teachers, we should try and get it out of our students. We should get them to enjoy the language. I hope that answers. I think we were talking a lot about all of this earlier in the show. Then BLG, you are truly an amazing teacher, sir. I miss teaching so badly. I left teaching 9 years ago. Wow, I can't imagine leaving teaching, you know. What do you do now, BLDG, G, sorry. Yeah, sorry guys, I get confused sometimes. What do you do now? I'm very interested. Letty, I personally teach Jolly Phonics. Yeah, I've heard of Jolly Phonics, but for young children, I wouldn't teach them with transcription. You want them to love English, not hate it. Yeah, I think Jolly Phonics is a fun way to do it too. Transcribing it. Yeah, I'm also on the fence about it. I think I would just teach them the phonics. I would let them learn the sounds first, and then learn how to write it, and then use it with examples. Transcribing it, yeah, I'm on the fence about that. Okay, Migam, how should I deal with shy students? I keep asking questions to them and wait for them to answer, but they don't speak. Wow, that's a good question. Migam, you with your fantastic questions. Now I suddenly have to think. Okay, yeah, so with shy students, we've all got those students. Number one, you want to make it a normal in the classroom to answer you. So from the very first day, you're going to be asking them questions. You're going to wait for them to answer. If they don't answer, ask a friend. So first of all, the rule in your classroom, my rule is nobody is shy. And if somebody is too shy to speak, I'm like, what is the rule? So try and, first off, make that the rule in your class that nobody is shy. They have to speak. Then, how do you get shy students to speak? Try and put them with in groups, in partners. Try and give them something to work from. So if you can, if they don't know how to make sentences, write an example on the board that they can use. And even if they just start reading off of it. So let's say you write a sentence on the board and say, okay, what is a sentence? And they read it, erase some of the words and say, okay, read it now. So you're going to systematically get them to open up. And also, you know, try and focus on their interests and things they like. Yeah, that's something I thought about. And then obviously try and use group pressure. So if you put them in groups, I found sometimes students, I've had these boys, they never want to talk. I put them in a group with some other boys and they start chatting. I'm like, okay, guys, let's do it about the topic. And, you know, they come out of their shells because they're in that group environment. And it's actually a good social pressure. As teachers, we should be able to control the social pressure in the classroom, and that's one way. You put them with partners, and it's expected of them to do that. Just like it's expected for them to behave, it's expected of them to speak English in the English classroom. Okay, wow, I see there's so many to deal with. Rashid says the games for learning proposes efficiently teaching general mathematics specifically. Okay, that is something that we can look at, specific games for that. Fanatic says, my primary kids love comics and drama. My fourth graders were working on a play about mermaids. I love that idea. Let students make storyboards, let them make cartoons, but also let them act it out, because some students love drawing, but other students, maybe they're not good at drawing. So take that and let them also act it out. I like that. Renee, puppets, Migam, using puppets, that's a good idea. I should use more puppets too. Renee, I dress up as different characters. I'm Queen Elsa offered. Renee, I want to see that. I think that's a great idea. What would I dress up as? I'm not... Actually, Halloween, I like to dress up. Migam says, thanks, Renee. So I have to be an actress. Yes, Migam. Every teacher is an actor or an actress. We have to. Fanatic says, I think that for shy students, let them start working in pairs with a friend, then group, then whole class. Fanatic, I think that's a great idea, actually letting them step up. I think that's good. Renee, yes, Migam, I am an edutainer. Yes, we have to be. And Christina's back. She says, I use a random name picker. Whichever name it lands on, that person answers. Actually, Christina, I agree. I love the fact, I often tell my students, like when I put them with partners, I tell them, they don't decide, I don't decide, luck decide. So what I usually do is I rip up pieces of paper. I say, okay, pick one, and maybe I write 2 numbers on there, 1 1 2 2 3 3. Shake it up, pick one, and then they have to work with that person, because that's how life is. You can decide who you want to work with the whole time. So that's something I do. I know other teachers, in some books I've read, these lollipop sticks, write their names on. If you've got the same class, you shake it up and then you pick it, and then you read their names, and it works that way. Fanatic says, Migam, I also played a game. Ask me what you want, I'll answer what I want, with my 5th graders. That got everyone to try and communicate. Yeah, because, they're interested in you, and they also want to share something about themselves. Letty, put the shy student with the talkative one who will motivate the shy one. Ask the shy one after they have heard each other answer. Give the shy one a puppet to speak through. Great ideas, Letty. I think what I do a lot with my students, I love giving them different questions they have to ask each other, but the questions are different. One thing that you should have some kind of structure, just to remind you, or to say that, because sometimes I found, like, talkative students, what's the problem in class is if talkative students, they're so excited to answer everything that they kind of just run over the shy students. That is why put them with talkative students, have something they can work on together, like a dialogue, so both of them have to answer. And then Migam, Letty, I was always the talkative one in English class. I know that awkward moment. Teachers must be enablers. Yes, we have to enable them. Migam, I can't imagine you being too shy in English class. I'm sure you helped so many people. Now, okay. Quiz over, or you can put your questions in there, but there's 20 minutes left. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate it. Let me say again, remember, I'm going to make a 10,000 subscriber video. I'm making a compilation. If you want to put in a video, if you want to share a video, I'm taking all the videos, I'm putting it together, and what you can do is introduce yourself and then share one teaching tip. It should be about maximum 40 seconds, and then I'm going to put them together and release it once I reach 1,000. So please, Elsa, Renee, Migam sent one for me, and also, who else sent me? Saima said one for me. So I'm still waiting for yours. You can send it to my email address, eowesch@yahoo.com. Now, Migam asked one more question. The first question was, how do you teach vocabulary? Second question, error correction. Now, this is actually a really fun one. And I'm going to talk about things that these answers I'm going to give, it's something that you have already used in your class. As teachers, we already do this, but we didn't know that there were names for these ways for error correction. Okay, so once again, if you have questions, if you want to share your opinion, put it in the comments below. Guys, you teach me so much. And what is the deadline for sending that video for your compilation? Fanatic, please send something. I'm going to say it's Wednesday because I want to quickly edit it together. And then once I reach 10,000, I'm just going to release it. So it should be by this weekend. So I think Wednesday is a good day to do it. Please send me one. I just want to put everyone in there. It's going to be so much fun. I also said something. I did the same in a trial lesson with Chinese girls. I was Queen Elsa and it happens I'm the real one. Excellent. Now, let's see. Because you can change your ego. Yeah, right, Migam. I think the reason, I was talking about this before we get to error correction. In a lot of schools, we pick students' English names. Now, many people say it's because if you have an English name, it means that you can take on a different personality. Maybe if you were shy in Korean, maybe if you speak English with this persona or this ego, then you can use it better. For myself, I just like using the students' names. So I actually, you know, I'm not going to shoot it down because I've tried it for one semester. But personally, I didn't enjoy it, but I know many other teachers use that. So it's up to the teacher to do that. And I think with a puppet, yeah, they can take on a different personality. Now, back to error correction. Now, error correction is very important. Now, the reason I like doing online classes instead of some teachers send in video and they ask students to send individual videos is because with error correction, you are helping the entire class. The entire class, many students might be having a similar problem. So by helping them fix those errors, everybody is learning about it. So that's very important. Now, when you do error correction or you give feedback to students, there are two things that you've got to take into consideration. Why do you want to fix the mistake they're making? So they make grammar mistakes, they make pronunciation mistakes, they can sometimes use the wrong word. But I think the most common mistake that we see as English teachers, grammar mistakes. Okay, so if they use the wrong verb or they mix up their tenses or they do something wrong. Okay, so usually it's grammar mistakes or pronunciation mistakes. Those are the two big ones. Now you've got to think, do you want to correct this error because of fluency or because of accuracy? Fluency is how fluent they speak, so they can speak more naturally, quicker. And then accuracy is if they're accurate with their language. Now, if it's for fluency, if you want them to speak more naturally, you will not interrupt them. You will wait till they finish. And after they finish, you can say, oh, that was really good. But here is the way to do it. If it's for accuracy, you're going to stop them and you're going to correct them earlier so that they know exactly, oh, I made this mistake at this point. Let's fix it. Let's continue. So please don't interrupt students if you want them to speak more fluently. And for accuracy, you want you want to fix it very quickly so that the students can actually get with that. Now, there's something I wanted to say about that. Oh yeah, here we go. Now, in my feedback video I did a year ago, when you give feedback or when you do error correction, when you do any of that as a teacher, you want to use the sandwich method. What is the sandwich method? And you can use this in your personal lives too. Before you correct someone or before you give them feedback, before you say something, you start with something negative. Start your sandwich with like a slice of bread. Let's put it underneath. And you start with a compliment. You start with something positive. So if I stop a student, I will say, oh, thanks, that was really good. I really enjoyed it. Or, oh, that was a good word that you used. Or, oh, that's such a good idea. So start with something positive to make them feel good. Because if you just start with the negative and the problem, students are going to start feeling, oh, you know what, I made a mistake, the teacher's so negative. So start with the positive, a compliment to them to make them feel good, to put them at ease, to know that you're coming from a place of, you're coming from a good place, right? You're coming from a place of trying to help them from a good place. So first, give them a compliment. Then you say, oh, well, but you did this mistake, or this is the error you make, or you want to do it differently like this. Now you put on the salami, or you put on the cheese, or, you know, you put on whatever is inside the sandwich. And then you finish off again by saying, good job, let's try it again. So positive, give them the feedback or the error correction, and then you can finish with a nice compliment to go. So I would say, oh, you made this, oh, that was really good, but this is how you will do it. Next time, do it this way. It'll be great, right? You're going to make them feel good, and they're going to be learning at the same time. Now, a lot of people say that, you know, you can use self-correction, you can use peer correction. That is fun. So let's say you've got some mistakes. The students write it down, and in their groups they try and fix it, right? Peer correction, they get a friend to help them. You can use those techniques, but I think as a teacher, when you correct it for them, if you help them, the whole class can benefit from that. Now, when students make mistakes, it depends if it's a new mistake or a mistake they make regularly. If it's a new mistake, I would give them some time. I would try and help them to get to the right answer. So I would be more kind and more understanding if it's a new mistake. Because, yeah, every mistake is a learning opportunity, right? Every mistake, even with, you know, if they make a mistake in class with their English, or if they, you know, they do something wrong with their behavior, that's a learning opportunity. That's the way we as teachers should see it. So, I think it's very important to understand if it's a new mistake, guide them to the correct the answer, the way it should be correctly. But if it's an old mistake or a mistake that you see too often, I make it a joke, but I correct them immediately. I'm like, no, you know the answer. This is what it is. And for me, one of those things I do a lot is, especially with my Korean students, is they say he eat, she go. And then I always tell them, listen, add that S, you know, or when they use plurals, they, I watch many movie, and then you're like, no, add that S, you know, so that's when I get very strict if it's repetitive. Fantastic say, also let kids know it is okay to make mistakes. Make some yourself, make some mistakes, ask them to correct you, so they can also try and give feedback, not only take it. Fantasy, great tip. You know what I do sometimes? Sometimes I write on the board and I make some really obvious mistakes. You know, I make some really obvious mistakes. And then I wait for the students to correct me. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I made a mistake. Oh, that's so bad. Thank you so much for helping me. Guys, what did I do? It shows them that I'm human and we can do it from there. Yeah, so very important. I tell my students from the start, you know, the only way, if they're shy, I say, listen, you have to make mistakes, because if you don't make mistakes, I cannot help you. I cannot teach someone who's perfect. You have to make mistakes. And the more mistakes you make, not on purpose, the more mistakes you make, the more you can improve. So the more you use the language, the more mistakes you will make. Don't see that as a negative. See that as a learning opportunity. Lady says, I agree. We need to be positive. Praise is important. Very important. Also, the classroom atmosphere. You know, you want to create a positive atmosphere, and by helping them, it's good. Listening here, BLDG, you're here, and positive atmosphere is important. Migam, I said that without reading what you said. I think we've got some kind of link. Saima, fantastic, Fanatic Fantasy, thanks. That's a good idea. Yes, thank you so much, guys, for sharing these ideas. I appreciate it. Now, I'm going to tell you something very funny. Now, as teachers, the students are making a mistake, and you want to do error correction. I said it before, if it's for fluency, don't stop them, but if it's for accuracy, stop them. The problem is, if you stop students immediately, you know, yes, it's learner focused, so the student can immediately fix it, which is good. But sometimes if you do it too much, the student can feel like, oh yeah, you know, maybe the teacher's picking on me, maybe I feel bad for making that mistake, maybe the class is going to laugh at me. So you want to come from a positive place. Now here's something funny. How can we do correction? And there are actually like almost 6 ways, and they're very similar, and you have used them. And this is really fun. The first one is explicit error correction. See, Migam, I took some notes to make sure I get it out. Malika, you say, I agree with you. So the first one is explicit. That's the traditional model. That's where you go and you say, oh, sorry, you don't say he like, you say he likes. So you go into teacher mode. That's the traditional way, where the teacher immediately corrects the student and they give them the correct way to say it, you know. So if you say, oh, it's not apple, it's apple, the teacher corrects it for them. That's a traditional way. Some students like it because, you know, that's a very easy way for them to learn, you know, but it can affect their confidence because they're being corrected, obviously. Leti says, I'm rubbish using the PC, so my students help me. I think they see I'm more human, so they relax. Yeah, if students know that you're human, they know that, wow, you know, I can relate to this person. So yeah, it's very important. You know, we should share some parts of our lives so that the students also feel like, man, they get to know you too and know that you're human. So the first way is explicit. You just fix it for them. The second way is called recast. Now that's where the teacher reformulates the question correctly. So if the student says, I has a cat, the teacher says, I have a cat. Or I have. Sorry. That's not it. That's the first one. The second one is if the student says, I has a cat, then the teacher reformulates it and say, oh, you have a cat. That's interesting. So it's not fixing the error, but the teacher is just fixing it there. And I think I just did it here too. Where was it? So Malika, you said, I agree with you. And actually, I didn't fix it or anything. I just recast it. I said, I agree with you. So that is another form of recasting right there. And we as teachers, you've done it before. The next one is number 3 is clarification. Clarification. Let me give you an example. The student says, I go to the cinema last night. And the teacher says, excuse me, what is that? Can you say that again? And the student realizes, oh, I did something wrong. What did I do wrong? I went to the cinema. So the teacher just asks him, oh, please say that again. What is that? And you've done this before, because we give the students another chance to do that. And then if they get it right, they will feel so proud, right? Vahid, Malika, where are you from? I'm from Uzbekistan. Rashid, good idea, Miss Letty, maybe. Good idea, the snake. Yeah. Also for small kids, if they forget the S ending for he, she, it, I have a picture of a snake to point to, because in Czech the snake does s. Oh, I like that idea. Yeah, especially for young students. It's like snake. And that's another way for them to actually, you know, to remember it. I like that idea. Fanatic says, I had to explain it the first time I brought the picture in, but then I can just point. Exactly. Also from Uzbekistan, both of you guys. Wow, too. Maybe you guys live in the same city and you don't even know it. Rashid, yeah, a snake. I like it. I put a snake in my hair. Renee, that sounds very scary, but probably very, very good to use. Okay, so we've had illicit is you just fix it for them. You have recast, where you reuse it in the correct way. So you continue, but you reuse it. And then 3 is clarification. You ask, can you say that again? What is it? You ask the students to say it again, and they can actually fix it. Remember, guys, we are teachers. We should guide them to the correct answer if it's possible. Yeah, we should just guide them forward. Time's almost running out. I have to finish. Number 4, meta-linguistic. That means if he says, I like going to the gym, or he like going to the gym, you can say, he likes. So in that case, you just you find the one part that's wrong, and you're like, he likes. So they know they have to fix that part. Number 5, elicitation. You elicit the correct answer. So if they say, I've been studying English since 3 years, you say, I've been studying English for 3 years. So you leave out the part that they have to do. I like the last ways to correct. Jesus says, I have a long snake made of socks. The guardian throw it to the ones who forget. I like the idea of throwing things in the classroom. Did you guys have teachers like that? You know, back in the day when teachers could still hit, we had this teacher and he had chalk. I think most teachers did this, or, you know, they had chalk and they could throw it at a student that wasn't paying attention. Man, and some of those teachers had killer aim, you know, hit the students against the head. These days we won't do that. At the moment, I'm in Russia as Gastarbeiter. I remember that's like not a part-time worker, but you're working towards something. No, it's something to do with science. You're doing some kind of science. Where are you now in Uzbek? Okay, you guys have your conversation. I'm going to continue. Okay, so elicitation, you elicit the correct language. And then number 6, repetition. They say, I have 24 years old. You say, I have 24 years. It's I am, and then they continue. Okay, guys, so yeah, that's what I wanted to say. As teachers, we should, when you do error correction, try and get the students, guide them to the answer. If it's not possible, then share it with the class so that they can understand it. I think it's very important to help them with that. And also, I like this idea of a snake. You know, if there's a basic mistake they often repeat, have a fun way to look at it, because if you get upset, they're going to feel bad for making the error. Instead, you make it something funny for them to laugh at. And I mean, that's way better to make learning fun for the students. Renee says, I was teaching colors in French to students and through different colored stuffed animals. Oh, that's so much fun. Guys, yeah, I think that's basically it for today. And today I won't forget, I'm going to go back. Which one worked for you the most? For me, good question, Renee. I mean, Migam. I think usually I ask the students. I would use elicitation, where I say, what is that? Or meta-linguistic. He, and then I just point and give them the I, and you give them a chance for them to get it right? So that's what I like to do. So usually I would just repeat it and then ask them for it. Because one of the mistakes is, you know, what we often do is when we recast it for our students. So I said I actually use recast a lot. So if a student says, I go to school, I go to library yesterday, I say, oh, you went to the library. The problem with that is many times they don't actually understand that they made a mistake. They just say, oh, I'm repeating. So you want them to know that, oh, you made a mistake, and then try and give them a chance to fix it. If they can fix it, if they made a mistake, sometimes I also ask their friends, oh, what mistake did they make? To keep them on their toes and to also let them help each other. Yeah, so what I would say is first give them a chance to fix it themselves. You can ask someone else, and then but finally, make sure all of them know what the mistake was so that they don't do it again. And then if they make a common mistake over and over again, have a fun way to point it out. Maybe you can use a laser pointer. I'm sad because I don't think I will be allowed to throw things in my class because of the virus. I know exactly what you mean. I hate the idea that I used a lot of cards. I like the students interacting. And walking around, and yeah, I'm missing the interaction and throwing stuff at them. Maybe you can throw them with hand sanitizer bottles. You know, that's something. A laser pointer, yeah, very good. We can do it like that. Guys, thank you so much for joining today. I want to go through Vahid. Thank you so much. I'm almost done with writing out the questions. You're going to enjoy it. Fanatic, thank you for coming. Eunice, Letty, it's a pleasure having you. You've had some great ideas. Fanatic, same. Man, not man, but I say man a lot. Fanatic, it's a pleasure having you here. BLDG, also first timer, so happy to have you guys. You can check out his channel. He also makes something, an old teacher. My brother, Saima, thank you for your video. The rest of you, Elsa, Renee, I'm waiting. Fanatic, I'm waiting for your videos. Letty, if you can. Then Veronica, you were here. Rashid, you were also new. Migam, as always, thank you so much for the questions. Yeah, I think in the future, I'm still deciding when to bring up another teacher, or I'll just continue with the live streams. For me, I've just been relaxing and busy with work, so for me, it's much easier just to do the live stream. But I can organize something with the teacher. Nicole, Roberto, thank you for coming in. Monya, I said it wrong again. I know last time you helped me with it. You guys are going to think I'm so bad with names, and I am. Monaya. I'm going to Monaya. Okay. Rashid, Elsa, Malika. Who else do we have? Maria, thank you for that question too. And yeah, everyone else, I think that's everything. Guys, did you have a good day? Thank you so much for joining. Of course, I'm not going to forget Christina. Christina, thank you for popping in if you're still here. Danny, thank you for being here. Guys, you can check out Danny's channel too. He teaches English. It's pleasant this way. Hi from Arizona. Andrea, just found the channel yesterday and loving it. Andrea, thank you so much for joining. It's a pleasure having you. Vahid, I remember how my teacher used to play with somebody's habits. Yeah, I think, is it habits? Yeah, it's doing that. Fanatic had so much fun. Yeah, me too. Thank you so much for coming. I had a great time. Monaya, I'm going to say it right. Yeah, good to have you, Roberto. Guide them to hit the right answer, not to give them the answer. It becomes more meaningful for the students. Exactly. Renee, thank you. Tata for now. Everyone, thank you so much. Have a great day. I'm glad that the sound was right and everything went well. Yeah. Send me those videos. Everyone have a fantastic week, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Maria, thank you, Maria.